Peace and blessings, family. Welcome back to another episode of Learn with Shavern. Okay, I just want to give a couple shout outs. So earlier today was super amazing, or today has been super amazing so far. Earlier this morning, I did a live session on Instagram with Billionaire PA. If you guys are not familiar with this young man, he is the author of 83 books. He travels the world speaking to the youth about speaking their dreams into existence. So if you get a chance today, go on Instagram and check that out. It was an awesome experience, an awesome interview. I am so grateful and so appreciative of it. I am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. And once you guys hop into your journey, once you're in that path, you begin to observe things as you're going through your path on this. So today's topic is actually kind of heavy. So I'm going to jump right into it. I just want to give those shout outs out there and to everybody who has been implementing the healthy habits and doing their affirmations, speaking positively to themselves, speaking positively to their children. I am grateful for all of you guys that are out there, and we are going to lead together to have a more harmonious journey filled with love, laughter, and life. All right. So today we're going to talk about the brain. Now, I want to throw something out there that I'm not sure if that's obvious or not, but your brain sits in darkness all day, all night until death. Okay. So what do I mean by that? Your brain is in here. It's literally inside of here, but it has 5 buddies. Remember we spoke about the 5 common people you should keep around you? Well, your brain also keeps 5 people around you. You know who they are? They're your senses: sight, smelling, tasting, touching, hearing. Those are your brain's 5 buddies. Separate, they cannot do anything. Together, they create your reality, right? So, for example, your eyes cannot hear. It's a pretty obvious one, right? So what happens is the brain says, hey, buddies, I'm going to send you guys into the world, right? I'm going to create a world for you guys. But in order for me to create this world, I need you guys to get certain information. I need you to obtain certain information for me. So he says, hey, hands, feet, and skin. All right. You guys are responsible for touching. Every time you touch something, you are to report that information back to me. Hands, feet, and skin say, okay, I got you, brain. I'm going to report back. The tongue. Brain says, hey, tongue, mouth, saliva. I'm going to tell you all the pleasurable things that are out there that taste good, okay? But you have to report the information back to me. Don't make the decision for yourself. Hey, eyes. I want you to go out into the world and receive these images, which is really coding. I want you to receive these images and report all that coding back to me, and I'm going to tell you what it is that you're looking at. Hey, ears. You can't do anything, ears. You're on the side of the head. However, you have a very important role because you are the gateway into everything else that this mind obtains. So ears, every sound that you hear is a frequency, and I want you to translate that frequency to me, and I'm going to tell you what that frequency is. Right? So the brain itself cannot do anything on its own, but together with the unison of all the senses, it is able to create what your outside perception is. Okay, so that's real. I thought that was really dope, really interesting. I told that analogy to somebody and they were like, wow, I never thought about it like that. And I believe I saw some documentary somewhere where it was talking about the brain by itself. Like if it was to separate from the body, it cannot do anything except perceive what it thinks it perceives, right? And once you guys to embody that same concept, your brain only knows what the senses tell it. Okay, if the senses don't tell it anything, the brain doesn't know anything. Again, shaping your reality, creating your mental reality. I had someone ask me, well, Shavern, if someone is trying to get from point A to point B, we know what point B is. Point B is when you see somebody else doing something or have something that you want and you're like, hey, that looks awesome. That looks amazing. I want that too. That's point B. But they asked me, well, how do you find your point A? And I pondered on this question. I was like, okay, well, you know what? That's a really interesting thing because for somebody like me, I'm intrinsically motivated. What does that mean? That means when I get up, Whatever my focus is for that day, that is what I am concentrated on for that whole day. And I surround nothing but positive energy around that thought and that focus, that target for that day. I do not live in yesterday and I do not live in tomorrow. I focus on being present always and putting my pennies away. If you guys have been watching my episodes, I mentioned in one of my previous episodes, like I think 2 or 3 episodes ago, about putting your pennies away daily. I do things every single day to build up to, at the end of the year, at the end of the month, at the end of the week, it have added up to my bigger picture of what it is, my target that I want to accomplish. So understand that your mind is powerful, but it's only as powerful as you allow it to be, right? Because again, it cannot see, hear, smell, taste, or do anything. The same way the brain tells the eyes and the tongue, hey, report back to me, it tells the nose, hey, report back to me. And every time you smell something, I'm going to tell you whether the smell is a good smell that we like it or a bad smell we don't like it. Okay, that's all programming. Your whole reality is nothing but your brain telling your eyes what it is you're perceiving. Okay, if we were never programmed to be taught that the sky was blue, would we all know that the sky is blue? It sounds like one of those like idiotic conceptual things, but the funny thing is about it is that when you really sit back and like think about it, you're like, okay, well, if I wasn't programmed this way, then what would I think? That's it. When you think that, that is that moment, right? That's the moment when you begin to say, okay, well, whatever it is that I think about, that is how I'm going to perceive it. It is the same way. So if you think negative thoughts, that is how you're going to perceive the world. You are going to perceive the world negatively, right? You're going to attract more of that because, as I stated in my other episodes, the universe wants you to be abundant and successful and joyous and amazing and awesome. But if you surround yourself with negative people, negative things, negative situations, negative words, it has no choice but to give you more of that because that's what you want. And I've come in contact with a lot of people who say, well, Shavern, you know, I find myself stuck in this bubble of negativity. How do I get out of it? Well, the fact that you're able to identify it, you've taken the first step to get out of it, right? Pretty simple. There's nothing really complex about anything that we want to do. I am a firm believer that there's no difference between you and I, right? Wholeheartedly. So a lot of people perceive that I am intelligent because of the words that I choose to use. But that perception is based on what you've been programmed to think because of the words that I use and how I choose to articulate myself, right? So that's all perception. That's what you think, what you associate it with, what you put those thoughts and energy into. Your mind is powerful, but you, at the end of the day, your spirit, it wants the best for you because you're amazing. And don't forget that. Make sure if you guys have children, you let your children know every single day, you know what? You're awesome. You're amazing. I love you. You are going to do great today. You are going to succeed because we want to speak positive words into our children. This morning, my son and I had a conversation about how humans are little generators, right? And this conversation started because he says that when I'm sleeping, my body gets really hot. And so like he'll feel my skin for whatever reason. He'll like put his hand on my face and feel my skin. He's like, yeah, you're really warm. He's like, you generate heat. I was like, so are we little generators? And then we had that whole conversation. In hindsight now, I think I should have probably recorded it. But there's plenty more to come. On Learn with Shavern. I really appreciate all of you guys' feedback, by the way. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, become Patreons. You guys can look me up on Instagram at Learn with Shavern. And I have a awesome and amazing surprise for you guys coming for the new year that's going to be put into works. Stay tuned because we do also have our 30 days of thankfulness challenge in November. When you give gratitude and thankfulness for things, more of it comes to you. I am constantly talking about how appreciative I am of everything, every human experience that I encounter, despite what it is. I am grateful and I'm appreciative and thankful always for all of it because with each experience comes these amazing things that continue to happen. And I am so happy that I'm able to keep generating more of it. And I want to be able to teach you guys how to do it too. Like, this information is free. It's out here. You can get it. So definitely let me know if there's any topics you guys want to talk about, anything in particular that I mentioned in one of my previous videos you want me to elaborate on. I want you guys to have a wonderful, powerful, productive, harmonious day, guys. And remember, you're amazing.